All right, welcome back to Not Square Design. This is Mark Farrar in Butte, Montana. December 8th of 2022. It's about 10 a.m. and we're registering on my thermometer outside. Almost zero exactly. Today, just going to kind of show company I use is 3D Laser Verify out of Missoula, Montana to do my scans. And this is a building I had reviewed earlier, but I had a music overlay on it and it didn't turn out so good. I didn't realize that was getting recorded. So I'm going to run through it again and just kind of show you all this stuff. All these scans were done on a tripod. Mirror balls are on. Perspective view is on right now. So using ReCap, and I did buy a new 3D Connexion Space Mouse Pro. And just so you guys are aware, Space Mouse does not work with ReCap. Autodesk, do you hear me? I'm still using keyboard and the center mouse button to navigate. So hold the shift, hold my center mouse button, puts me in the orbit, and now I can move around. And because this scan on the interior, there is no ceiling elements, or in some cases, if we go up in the attic, I will still get this information. But there was no ceiling in this place, so all the rafters and stuff are exposed. So we did it all from the ground. And those little spheres that you see are actually the locations of each scan. And so what Ryan will do is he'll start at some point outside, and then when he decides to move in, he'll put one at the door, and then he has to connect up the spheres to each other. And once he does so, then all this stuff comes together. And what is really cool about this is the bird's eye view, even, of this entire project. And I can zoom out, and this thing goes, something like 350 feet away. And we picked up, other businesses, the middle portion of the train station, and a little bit of the third building in the train station, pawn shop down the road, gas station across the street is, it's over here, on up the street. There's just a ton of information on this scan. And with that also comes the slope of the lot. So we've got snow and stuff to contend with in Butte, and we're going to be getting topography out of this. I'll have all the curb data in here that will show up, and hoping to have actually topography to me today. And he gives that to me, and I use a program for my 3D called Chief Architect, and I can import that directly in, and boom, I've got topography. There's kind of a view. They're warped until you pop into one, but yeah, you can just kind of scroll wheel to cruise around and move around. So just real quick, let's kind of pop in, because on this particular project, just to really kind of show the power, we did this one in color, and sometimes this isn't necessary, but if I click on that ball, it'll go in and it'll render what we've got. And it looks like this particular shot, which you can see the herringbone pattern outside, you can see all of the railing. This is a bright sunny day. Why it's showing at this color contrast level, I'm not clear. But this one was obviously taken in black and white. So if I click on another sphere, you can start to see some of the color stuff showing up. And I can tell the plaster work, all of the stuff that's in here. On a separate video, I'll show you if you wanted to. You can actually get rid of this stuff in ReCap and get rid of all the junk that's in here and end up with just a building. Shouldn't say junk. Sorry. Stuff. It's stuff. That was just a word that flew out. My client's going to watch this and be like, hey. All right. So pop into the next one, and how close you are to an object and how much sun is coming into a room is going to make the light value of the color overlay onto this digital measurable. The whole thing is really, I can get distances, all kinds of stuff. And I'm not in Pro. You can see these little Pro tags. I'm not in Pro. I'm just in ReCap, and it's a free version. There are a few extra features in Pro, but those are mainly used for Ryan. I don't seem to need them. There are some things that I, I, I do wish I had, but they haven't caused me vital problems yet. One of the things is if I'm zoomed way out, I have to scroll my way in. I can't window zoom. That slows things down. That I think is probably this feature here. But yeah, you can see you can just kind of move around within the building, and I can show you these shots now because this stuff is no longer in the building, so it's not a security risk to show you this video. She's getting emptied out and almost empty now. So at any rate, I'll show you how to remove some of this in a separate video, but this is just the power of this thing and how we can pop around and just keep moving on through, go right on back outside. Here's some of us standing around talking while the scans are being done. If you stand still, you're in the scan. There's even the obnoxiously painted building next door. We won't mention the name, although you might be able to read it in one of these pictures. But yeah, look at this detail. Just wonderful. Cracks in the pavement. I go up and I can see all the details of the brick, and I can go in on this stuff and really take a look and go to whatever detail. And in the model, I've modeled these, site-built corbels that were built back 100 years ago, 100 plus. I'm assuming that this was, we haven't found an exact record yet, but I'm guessing it was built sometime around or even before the Hennessy building, which was built in 1895, or the plans were drawn in 1895, and probably started construction shortly thereafter. This is the center portion where the passengers and stuff would have come in, got tickets, that sort of thing. My understanding is this end of this building used to be a restaurant, and so I don't think this was a garage door. I believe this may have, just because the period architecture imbued. That may have been, basically what we would call now floor-to-ceiling glass. And then down here were loading docks, I assume. Trying to find more information on this building. But yeah, just really cool stuff and just such a great piece of software. And then up here in the right-hand corner, you can click on any of these if you just want to zip around. And sometimes I will chart out my different ones onto an Excel spreadsheet, and I can then know that when I get to, if I highlight over this and then it gives me a window, it'll name the scan right in here. But if it's not, I can come up here and say, okay, I'm in scan 14. I'm looking at scan 010, and then I'll chart out where those are in a spreadsheet. So I can actually turn off the inside of the building and have less detail, that kind of thing. And that you can do in AutoCAD. I would assume you can do it in Revit. I'm not a Revit user. I do my 3D in Chief for rendering reasons. Just a preference issue, I suppose. At any rate, that's kind of a once over on how to get around in this program. And if you're paying attention, if you're listening, Autodesk, it would be really nice to use my 3D mouse. I'm pulling on it. I'm turning it right now. Nothing is happening. So, love to use that tool. So, show us what we can do. And for everyone else, I hope this was kind of a cool little demo. And if you do need services in Montana, look up 3D Laser Verify. up in Missoula, Ryan Darling. He's a great guy to work with. And everyone, have a good day. Thanks.